YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to Bananas Epic Gaming, and today on Bananas Epic Gaming, we are filming the 69th episode of CageTalk. Now, I'm using OBS. I'm in the middle of getting a new computer and all that, so I'm filming at my brother's house, and I thought, what better way to test OBS out than do my 31 picks NFL mock draft. It's 31 this year because the Dolphins got their pick disqualified, forfeited it. So with that being said, the Chicago Bears are on the clock, and I'm going to be using trades because the Chicago Bears are one of two teams that have been put out there that said they want to trade down. So I have the Chicago Bears trading down with the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are going to give up a first this year, a second this year, a fourth this year, and a first next year. So 1, 2, and 4 this year, and a first next year. Now the Indianapolis Colts are on the clock. Now the Indianapolis Colts, they are trading up, obviously, to get their quarterback. They have been in veteran quarterback purgatory since they lost Andrew Luck, and now they are looking for their guy, and they think they found their guy. Yes, they gave up 2 firsts, a second, and a fourth. That is what is being listed as redeemable, but they are overjumping a quarterback-needy team in the Houston Texans to get the number 1 quarterback on my board. And with the first overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select quarterback Bryce Young out of Alabama. Now, Bryce Young, there's not that much that separates Bryce Young to me with the other quarterbacks, CJ, Will, and AR-15. This is a quarterback class where you can take your pick. AR-15, he's like near the bottom because I believe, needs more work. Will Levis is the more quarterback ready. Bryce Young, he has tremendous talent. And CJ, he is just a tremendous QB. So CJ and Bryce Young should be the top 2 taken, in my opinion. Bryce Young is going to a team that really needs quarterback play to do its thing, which is the Indianapolis Colts. Because you got Jonathan Taylor, you got Michael Pittman, you got some decent weapons there, but they haven't had a good quarterback in a long time since Andrew Luck. The Indianapolis Colts, they give up some picks to move up 3 spots to overtake the Houston Texans for Bryce Young, and they hope that this is the right decision. Now on to the next pick. Now with the second overall pick, the Houston Texans are on the clock. The Houston Texans are a team that needs talent all over the board. They haven't been the same since Arizona basically stole DeAndre Hopkins from them. Then they lost J.J. Watt. And then they lost Deshaun Watson, which was a blessing in disguise for them. Because now they can get their new identity. I could see them trading down here, because it's something that I think they would do. But they should not. The Houston Texans need to answer their quarterback situation right now. And with the second best QB still on the board, I would not risk trading down because you have the Falcons, you have the Panthers, and you have the Raiders waiting in the wings to trade up to get one of these QBs. Now, with that being said, the Houston Texans, this should not be a question. If Bryce Young is gone, they need to go in this direction. So with the second overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Now, pick 3 is going to be the Arizona Cardinals, but the Arizona Cardinals are going to trade down. We're in a predicament where we don't need a quarterback, and there's QB needy teams that want to trade up. So we're going to take advantage of this. We're going to get the first and second this year, third next year, and a first in 2024. And we're trading with the Atlanta Falcons. So the Atlanta Falcons are on the clock. Now, the Atlanta Falcons have not been the same team since they blew that 28-3 lead. They are in the middle of a rebuild mode. They have Kyle Pitts. They need to get their franchise quarterback, and they are trading up to get a little bit of a project quarterback, but they're trading up to get arguably somebody who has a really high ceiling. So, with the third overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Anthony Richardson, quarterback out of Florida. Anthony Richardson is that developmental quarterback I was talking about earlier. He has a really high ceiling. He's getting jumped over Will Levis because I like what I've seen from Anthony Richardson. He greatly improved his stock at the combine, standing in the 6'4", 244. I would say Anthony Richardson is like a year away from being NFL ready. He could play now and do good in my mind, and he will. But if he could sit behind somebody for a season, I think that would benefit him more. Anthony Richardson is going to Atlanta. He's going to hopefully be the answer for the Atlanta Falcons so people can stop bringing up the 28-3 lead blown. Anthony Richardson will either be the third or fourth quarterback taken on draft day in the first round, but I have him going number 3. Now on to the next pick. Coming in at pick number 4 is going to be the Chicago Bears. And the Chicago Bears originally had the first pick, and best case scenario, Will Anderson Jr. and Jalen Carter are still on the board, so they can make their pick of who they want the most. So, they're not going to trade down again. They're going to take their best player. And with what happened with Jalen Carter at the combine, I'm not going to take him here. So, with the 4th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Will Anderson Jr., edge rusher out of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, Anderson Jr., he's the best edge rusher in the class. No question, no doubt. The Chicago Bears could go Anderson or they could go Carter, and that would be a win-win for them. I have them going Anderson because they haven't had that edge rush help since they got rid of Clomac. And Clomac was good, but he wasn't as great. I think Will Anderson will be better. Will Anderson should be the pick here. This will help the Bears in the long run. They get a first-round pick next year from trading down that they can possibly try and move up and get one of the top wide receivers if they're near the bottom of the NFL. When I say bottom, I mean like the 20s. But Will Anderson should be the pick here, and this would be my pick. He's my number 1 ranked defensive player. Now on to the next pick. The Seattle Seahawks are on the clock, and they got this pick from trading Russell Wilson to the Broncos, and they are looking like geniuses. They could take Will Levis here, but I'm just going to have them ride out with Geno Smith and rebuild that defense. And there's a certain defensive player here. If he's here, they are going to be extremely happy. So, with the 5th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Jalen Carter, defensive tackle out of Georgia. Now, Jalen Carter is one of the better defensive linemen to come out in the past few years. He only fell this far because of what happened at the combine. And I'm not going to talk about that because it's not my place, really. But he is a tremendous player. The Seahawks get an absolute baller for that interior defensive line. And he's going to be wreaking havoc on my Cardinals for the next 4 years to come. 4 plus. Because I'm sure that they will re-sign him when his rookie contract comes up. Jalen Carter fills the need. Seahawks get younger in the trenches. And they are extremely happy right now. Now on to the next pick. Coming in at pick number 6 is going to be the Detroit Lions. Now, the Detroit Lions are on the clock at pick 6. They have 2 first-round picks. They got this pick from the LA Rams when they traded Matthew Stafford. And I'm going to have them go defense here because they need to build that defense because they play in the NFC North. So you play against Rodgers, Cousins, and Fields twice a year. So I'm going to have them go for a position of need. And that position of need that they have is DB. And my number 1 DB is still here. So with the 6th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Christian Gonzalez, defensive back out of Oregon, is the pick for number 6. Christian Gonzalez is my number 1 ranked defensive back on my board. He reminds me a little of Patrick Peterson when he came out, and him going to the Detroit Lions will help them in the long run because they play against Cousins, Rodgers, and Fields. And whoever is the quarterback for the Detroit Lions going forward, they will have pieces on that defense that will keep them off the field and stop the opposing team from scoring. And Christian Gonzalez is a good piece to have. Now on to the next pick. Coming in at pick number 7 is gonna be the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the Las Vegas Raiders are a team that had their franchise QB in Derek Carr, but they decided to go their separate ways. Yes, they are in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes because he might leave Green Bay, but I don't see that happening. I think he's just going to come back. So the Raiders need a quarterback, and luckily, the last quarterback in my top rated quarterbacks for the first round are still on the board. So, with the 7th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Will Levis is my 4th ranked quarterback because I think there's going to be at least 4 taken in the first round. He stands in at 6'4", weighs 229. I have him rated out of 10 at a 6.30. I believe he's ready. One of the more Pro Bowl or pro ready quarterbacks in the from the combine and from the draft in total. I like what I see in Will Levis. I would put him like maybe at 3. You can make a case for him and Anthony Richardson being 3. The other one's 4, obviously. His pro comparison, I would say, is Jay Cutler. And the Raiders get a good quarterback. They get somebody who they can hope could be their franchise quarterback, like Derek Carr was before they let Derek Carr go. Now, it's just building around him. You already got Devontae Adams. Who are you going to put with him? Now on to the next pick. Coming in at pick number 8 is going to be my favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals have pick 3. They traded down with the Atlanta Falcons. So let's see what I would do if I was the Arizona Cardinals. We have a new GM and a new coach. So the new era starts right now. Now, my Arizona Cardinals, we lost J.J. Watt. We're probably going to lose DeAndre Hopkins to a trade. I'm going to save the 7th-round mock for the Cardinals closer to the draft, because if we trade Hopkins for draft picks, I want to use those draft picks. And if we don't trade him, I don't want to use draft picks that we don't have. Because I'm going to trade down, obviously. And that's the only, only draft picks I'll use that I might get if I was the GM. But I'm waiting for Hopkins. But back to this pick. The Cardinals, they need help in the DB room. They need help protecting Kyler Murray. And they need help on the defensive line. So, my second best edge rusher is still on the board. And yes, this is a heavy edge rushing class, but this guy's talent is too good to pass up. So, with the 8th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Tyree Wilson, edge rusher out of Texas Tech. Now, Tyree Wilson, he's my 2nd-ranked edge rusher. He's my 5th-ranked player in the draft. And the Arizona Cardinals get a monster to put in the trenches. The Arizona Cardinals get a 6'6", 271-pound defensive end that they need. Man, if we had him when we had J.J. Watt last season, we might not have been that bad. His combine results, he only did 23 bench reps, and he sat out the rest. I like Tyree Wilson from his film to seeing him play on TV. He seems like an all-around perfect prospect. He could go number 1 overall, but I don't see him going number 1. He could make a case to be a top 2 pick. But Arizona Cardinals strike gold with this pick. Coming in at pick number 9, we have the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers. Now, the Carolina Panthers are a team to watch out for the trade up for a quarterback. But in this scenario, they don't trade up. Maybe they go get Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, one of those QBs, and bring them in. So I'm going to have them go for their 3rd need that I have them at, and that's an edge rusher. Because this is a heavy edge rush class, but there is like the elite talent, the absolute talent, the best talent, then you get to the 4th tier. And their guy that I'm going to give them is my number 3 ranked defensive end. So, with the 9th pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Myles Murphy, edge rusher, out of Clemson. Now, Myles Murphy is coming out of Clemson, standing in at 6'5", 268. He's rated a 6.42 out of 10. He has good strength from the combine. He had 25 reps on the bench. I really like Murphy. I see tremendous upside, and on film you can see the speed, and he's somebody you always have to keep your eye on when he's on the field. Murphy going to the Panthers is a best case scenario for them because they need help on that pass rush tremendously, but it's a worst case because they don't know what they're doing for quarterback. They could trade up, but Murphy is the best player on the board of the position of need that they need. So, Panther fans, if this is the pick, you guys would be in good hands. Now on to the next pick. Coming in at pick number 10 is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles with their first of 2 first-round picks. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles, they are a team that just went to the Super Bowl, and they need to replace a few key pieces. I took a look at their roster, and I don't really like their defensive back room, their corner back room in particular. And my number 3 and 2 and 4 ranked corners are still on the board. In fact, all of them are on the board but Christian Gonzalez. So if I'm the Eagles, this is a pick who you like the most. And I'm going to pick somebody that I think that would fit their system more. So with the 10th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Devin Witherspoon, defensive back out of Illinois. Now, with their new defensive coordinator coming in, along with their offensive coordinator, I see the Philadelphia Eagles getting somebody who could be a lockdown, shutdown corner for them for years to come. And Devin Witherspoon is that guy, standing in at 5'11", 181. He is graded at a 6.40 out of 10. I believe Devin Witherspoon could be that guy for them. He reminds me of Arizona native Levi Wallace. His strengths, he has a loud completion rate of 34.9. His impressive recognizing routes on the trigger throws. His eyes are always following the coverage. Devin Witherspoon is a top defensive back coming out, and any team would be lucky to have him. The Philadelphia Eagles, let's add another piece to that defense so they can contend and defend their reigning title as NFC champions. Now on to the next team. Coming in at pick number 11 is going to be the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Tennessee Titans, they are a team that could be looking into a quarterback, but I don't see them doing that because they got their quarterback last year in round 2. I believe it was round 2, and I still think they have Ryan Tannehill. So I think they're going to ride out with those two guys, at least Ryan Tannehill, for one more season. And then maybe next year they'll make an attempt to trade up, if they are in the high teens, high 20s. But they also have the king of running backs in Derrick Henry, and you need an offensive line. So I'm going to have them get the first offensive lineman on my board. So with the 11th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle out of the Ohio State University. Now, Paris Johnson is a 6'6", 313 offensive lineman. He's ranked a 6.39. He had a broad jump of 9 and 2. I believe that he sat out the rest. I'm a fan of Paris. I had him ranked high in this past college season, and I expected him to be a top 10 pick, and he's just out of the top 10. He's going to a team that needs offensive line help on top of a good quarterback. But you get those little pieces in, and then you start building around your star running back and Derrick Henry, and then when you get your quarterback, you're ready to go. You have all the pieces you need. So Paris Johnson Jr. should be the pick if all the quarterbacks that are worth taking in the first round are gone. Now on to the next pick. Coming into pick 12 is going to be the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans got this pick by trading Deshaun Watson to the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Houston Texans, they filled their quarterback need by taking CJ. They need to get a wide receiver to replace Hop, and they need to replace J.J. Watt. So I'm going to have them take one of the best defensive ends still on the board and get the wide receiver in round 2. That's what I would do. So with the 12th overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Lucas Van Ness, edge rusher out of Iowa. Now, Lucas Van Ness is coming into Houston with very big shoes to fill, because they hope that he could be the J.J. Watt replacement. Standing in at 6'5", 272, 11-inch hands, 34-inch arms. He's ranked a 6.38 out of 10. His prospect grade, he had a 4.58 40-yard dash, 1.64 10-yard split, 31-inch vertical jump, 9 and 10th broad jump, 3-cone drill, 7.2, 20-yard shuffle, 4.32, and a bench press of 17. He, on paper, looks like a solid beast. And that's what the Houston Texans needs. They need dogs. They need people that give 0 Fs and will go out there every Sunday, or Thursday, or Monday, and leave it all on the field. And this is a good step in the right direction. If I'm the Texans and he's here, I will consider making him the pick. But for me, he's going to the Texans. Now on to the next pick. Coming in at pick number 13 is going to be the New York Jets. Now, the New York Jets are on the clock. They have their quarterback, Zach Wilson, but there's rumors that they're in the Garoppolo or Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. We don't know what's going on there. They could keep White as their quarterback, but I think they should just run with Wilson, like put some pieces around him, and if he completely craps to bed again, cut ties and try to get a quarterback next year. So in order to do that, we got to put the protection around him. So with the 13th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle, out of Northwestern. Now, Peter, he's a good plug-and-play tackle. I would have him starting maybe at right tackle, but I'm pretty sure he can play left tackle as well. You put this piece on the offensive line, you build that offensive line, and then get a couple pieces around Zach Wilson, and then he should have no excuses. This is the right step to take, because if you don't have a good old line, you're not going to do anything on offense. And I don't really like the wide receivers in this class, but some teams are going to get a wide receiver in the first round. But if you have a glaring need on the offensive line or defensive line, you have to take it, and that's what the Jets do. They take their glaring need on the offensive line. Now on to the next pick. Coming in at pick number 14 will be the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots are going to be the first team to start the run on wide receivers. They can go the kid from TCU or USC here. Doesn't matter. They need to get a weapon for Mac Jones when he comes back. And that's exactly what they do. So with the 14th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of USC. Jordan Addison at the combine clocked in 4.49 on the 40-yard dash, 1.56 on the 10-yard split, 34-inch vertical, and 10 and and 2 broad jump. He's rated a 6.36 prospect, standing in at 5'11", arm length 30 and 7/8, 8 3/4 in the hands, and 173 in weight. Jordan Addison fits better in the Bill Belichick system / Bill O'Brien system, and you give Mac Jones a weapon that he could grow with as a player, because you got to build around your franchise QB, especially if they are still on their rookie contract. And this is one step for the Patriots to get back into their winning ways. Now on to the next pick. Now the Green Bay Packers are going to make this short, simple, and easy. If Aaron Rodgers is going to be in Green Bay playing quarterback for this upcoming season, they're going to keep him happy. They're going to go get him a big-bodied wide receiver with this pick, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So with the 15th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Quentin Johnson, wide receiver out of TCU. Now the Green Bay Packers, they get my number 1 wide receiver. He barely beat out Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison went to the Patriots because of his scheme fit. Johnson is 6'3", 208, with 33 and 5/8 arms and 9 and 5/8 hands. He's ranked 6.40 on the prospect scale. His pro comparison is Alshon Jeffrey. I think that he would make Aaron Rodgers extremely happy and possibly talk Aaron Rodgers out of retirement, because Aaron Rodgers basically just wants Green Bay to get him a weapon in the draft. And if this doesn't make him happy, pick up the 5th-year option on Love and trade away Rodgers. Jordan Addison and Quentin Johnson are 2 great receivers, and they went off the board back-to-back. Now on to the next pick. Coming in at pick 16 is going to be the Washington Commanders. The Commanders don't get their logo because it's basically just a big W. So the Commanders, they need a little bit of help on the offensive line, a quarterback, defensive back, and a linebacker. I don't like any of the quarterbacks here. And I think they need more help on the offensive line than they do in the DB room, because in the DB room, you can always get a DB in round 2, but the offensive linemen are going to start flying off the board. And by the time they come back around, a good tackle will be gone. He'll be the best tackle on the board. Will be the 110th ranked player. So I'm going to have them get the best offensive lineman on the board. And with the 16th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Broderick Jones, offensive tackle out of the Ohio State University. Broderick Jones gives the Washington Commanders something that they need. They need depth, and they need to get a little bit younger and stronger on the offensive line. This pick is strictly building towards the future, because more than likely they will be in the top 10 picks next year. And then maybe you can see them getting a quarterback. They can possibly be in play for Nixon or Nix or Caleb Williams. But start building around this team, and whoever your quarterback is next season, they can come in day one, start for the job, and have talent around them and be protected. This is a long-term investment, and the Commanders get a hell of a player in Jones right here. Now on to the next pick. Coming in next is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Pittsburgh is picking at pick 17, and one of my favorite prospects is here. And seeing how his dad played for the Steelers, and it's a position of need, the Pittsburgh Steelers get lucky. They're going to get one of the best defensive backs in the draft. So for the 17th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Joey Porter Jr., defensive back out of Penn State. You want to talk about a defensive back who is an absolute baller? Joey Porter Jr. is that guy. Standing in at 6'2" and 1/2, weighing in at 193, hands 10 inches, arms 34 inches. Prospect grade 6.43, 40-yard dash 4.46, 10-yard split 1.5, 35-inch vertical, 10 and 9th. Broad jump, 17 reps on the bench. Joey Porter Jr. is a beast of a player. And I think he is going to be a tremendous asset for any team that he goes to. Like his father, he's going to be a really good player. Will he win more rings? Only time will tell. The Steelers get a baller, and that's exactly what they need on that defense to go with T.J. Watt. Now on to the next pick. Coming in at pick number 18, again, is going to be the Detroit Lions are back on the clock. This is the Lions pick because the Lions actually did good this year. Let's try to make them better. Now, the Detroit Lions, they are back on the clock, and they are going to stick on defense for this pick. They need to address their defensive line. They have already addressed their defensive backfields by getting Christian Gonzalez at pick 6, and with one of the top defensive linemen still on the board, it only feels fitting. So with the 18th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Brian Bryce, D-tackle out of Clemson. Now, Brian, he gives something the Detroit Lions have needed for a while, in my opinion, especially since they lost Ndamukong Suh. He gives them a monster in the middle of the trenches. He gives them a monster to break through the offensive line and go after the quarterback. Because then, once he ranks up the name of the monster of the defense, all eyes are going to be on him, and you can have your edge rushers like Aiden Hutchinson and whoever on the other side rush for the quarterback. And that would be the best thing for the Lions, so they can get him and Christian Gonzalez in the same draft. That's a win-win. Yes, I understand that you should take a QB because you might not be in this position again in the top 5, top 10. You don't want to be, but this is too good to pass up. Now on to the next pick. Coming in with pick number 19 will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they don't have a quarterback. They might trade away Mike Evans is what I've heard. This is a team that is in semi-rebuild mode, life after Brady mode. And they let go of Leonard Fournette, which is where I'm going to go with my next pick. Because I'm going to give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the number 1 ranked running back in the draft. That way, whoever is the quarterback, they have a running back that could give them a good run game. So with the 19th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Bajay Robinson, running back out of Texas. If I messed up his first name, I'm sorry. Robinson, the hometown kid from Tucson, Arizona. Now, I would really like Arizona to get him, to bring him home, especially since he's from Tucson, where I am from and I live currently. But Tampa Bay, man. Tampa Bay got rid of Fournette. So some signs are pointing that he is going to be on their radar because he is a really good running back. He ran a 4.46 at the 40-yard dash, 1.52 seconds in the 10-yard split, 37 inches vertical, and 10/4 of the broad jump. His pro comparison is Josh Jacobs, and I will be rooting for him because he is a Tucson kid. He is from here. So, Bronzy Robinson, good luck. Now on to the next pick. It's John Robinson, but anyway, going on to the next pick, and that is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. Now, the Seattle Seahawks, they took Jalen Carter with their first round pick, and now I'm going to have them go on the opposite side of the line. So, with the 20th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Osiris Torrance, offensive guard, Florida. Now, Torrance, he feels a need for the Seahawks. The Seahawks need to get better on their offensive line, especially to protect Geno Smith and to give Kenneth Walker more time to find holes and run through. The Seahawks take Terrence because he's the best interior offensive lineman on the board at this point in time. And they are hoping that he could be a key cornerstone of the franchise for years to come. Now on to the next pick. With the 21st pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers are on the clock. Now, the Los Angeles Chargers are on the clock, and one of the big needs is wide receiver, because there's rumors that Keenan Allen is going to either get traded or get released, and Mike Williams is a good number one, but he's not really a number one. He feels more like a number two. So I'm going to have the Los Angeles Chargers go wide receiver in this case, and my number 3 wide receiver is still on the board. He could be number 1 in most drafts, but he's going to go to LA. So with the 21st pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Jackson Smith-Njigba, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Now, Jackson gives the Los Angeles Chargers speed, good hands, good durability, and another weapon for Justin Herbert to grow with as a player. You can have him, you can have Austin Eckler and Mike Williams as your 3-headed monster if you do decide to get rid of Keenan Allen. But if you keep Keenan Allen, Smith-Njigba, Williams, and Eckler, then Justin Herbert has all the weapons in the universe. Jackson Smith should be the pick here for the Chargers because the Chargers need help, because that loaded AFC West is going to be harder to win as the years go on. So start putting the talent around Herbert now, and sooner or later you will maybe win the AFC West. Now on to the next pick. Coming in at pick 22 would be the Baltimore Ravens. Now the Baltimore Ravens are on the clock. Yes, you could go wide receiver here, but they have more pressing needs in my mind. They need to get some help on that defense, make that defense scary again, and that's what they're going to do here with this next pick. So with the 22nd pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Cam Smith, defensive back out of South Carolina. Now, Cam Smith, he's one of my mid-ranked defensive backs, but I think he will fit the Baltimore system more. He stands in a 6'1", 180, arm length 31.5/8, hands 9 1/8. Had a 4.43. 40-yard dash, 1.49, 10-yard split, 38-inch vertical, and 11 and 2 broad jump. The Ravens, they need to load that defense because they play in a tough division with the Bengals, Steelers, and the Browns. They don't want to be the odd team out because their defense is not that good. So put all the good key pieces you can on defense, and this is one way of doing it right here. Cam Smith is one of the better defensive backs on the board, and the Ravens get a stud. Now on to the next pick. Coming up next is going to be the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are on the clock at pick 23. The Minnesota Vikings play in the NFC North with Fields, Rodgers, Goff. They have Cousins as their quarterback. That's a decent quarterback, but there's no quarterbacks worth taking right here, so that's off the table. They don't need to really get a wide receiver. They need to work in that defense, especially that safety position, because Harrison Smith is not getting any younger, and there is a really good star-studded safety on the board. So with the 23rd overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Brian Branch, safety out of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, he is ranked number 1 out of all the DBs. I don't have DB safety being that many teams' needs for a first-round pick. But they can pair him with Harrison Smith on the opposite side. And eventually when Harrison Smith retires, he can just transfer over. He ran a 4.58, 40, 1.56 10-yard split, 34 and 5 vertical jump, 10 and 5th broad jump, and 14 reps on the bench. This is a good player for the Minnesota Vikings. It feels a need. And the Vikings just need to load up and go after the North. Now on to the next pick. Coming in at pick number 24 would be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are a team that shocked a lot of people. They went from being the worst team to being one of the better teams that are in the playoffs in a year. And I'm going to see that they continue this trend simply because of their quarterback and the weapons that he has. He has Christian Kirk, who was a Cardinal standout. He played for the Cardinals. He grew up in Arizona. Yes, it sucks that he left, but if he wins, great. So let's help Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk out a little bit. And let's give them arguably the best tight end in the draft. Tight end is one of their needs. So with their first round pick 20, I want to say 24, the 24th overall pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Michael Mayer, tight end out of Notre Dame. This pick, if I'm Trevor Lawrence and this happens, I'm happy. Because not only do I get another weapon, but I get an absolute monster. Michael is one of the better tight end prospects to come out in recent years, in my opinion. He would be a tremendous asset to any team as a weapon. He stands in at 6'4.5", 249, 31 5/8 arm, and 9.5 hands. 4.740, so he's not the fastest, but he is a player that will give you 110%. His NFL comparison is Jason Witten. Jaguars get a monster to go with Trevor Lawrence's weapons. Now on to the next pick. Coming in at pick number 25 will be the New York Football Giants. Now, the New York Giants, they, as of this recording, they want to bring back Barkley and Jones. If they can bring those two back, I see, and I hope that the Giants bring in weapons for Daniel Jones so he can succeed to the best of his ability. And if I'm the GM and I'm looking at this board and it falls this way, there's only one person on my mind, and that is Dalton. Dalton Kincaid, the tight end out of Utah. He is arguably the third best tight end in this draft. The other one I have concerns about because I haven't done that much research on him. But Dalton, I believe he would fit nicely into the New York Giants system. His pro comparison is Zach Ertz. So with the 25th pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Dalton Kincaid, tight end out of Utah. Now, Dalton Kincaid is a big body tight end, something that the New York Giants, I believe, would love to have. Is 6'4", 246, 32 5/8 arm, and 10 1/4 hands. He didn't attend the combine. His strengths are his impressive catch radius, a good burst off the line, and he can break tackles really well as well. Dalton Kincaid would be a nice little asset to the New York Giants offense, whomever the quarterback may be, Daniel Jones or Jimmy Garoppolo or whoever they decide to have at QB. If the New York Giants don't trade up to get a QB, I believe Dalton Kincaid should be the answer. If they bring back Daniel Jones, the Dalton to Jones, that's what I was trying to do, combo would be nice to see. Now on to the next pick. And coming in at pick number 26 is the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Dallas Cowboys could go one or two ways. They could go defensive line or DB. Or they can take Zay Flowers at wide receiver. But I don't see them taking a wide receiver. So I'm stuck between Ringo and Kinsey, because the Dallas Cowboys need help on that interior D-line, and they need to get a dancing partner for Diggs. But I believe after the combine, they could hold off on getting a dancing partner for Diggs. So, with the 26th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Kalijah Kinsey, defensive tackle out of Pittsburgh. Now, Kalijah is one of my top 5 interior D linemen. That's not an edge rusher. He is ranked 6.37 out of 10, compared to Jalen Carter, who was ranked 7-11. Only one person went ahead of him, and that was Brian Breezes, he is ranked ahead by 2%. But Kinsey, he had a 4.67 combine, 40-yard dash, 1.64, 10-yard sprint. I believe that this could be a key piece for the Dallas Cowboys to actually make a good attempt at winning their division, because defense wins championships, and this would be the right step in the right direction for the Dallas Cowboys. Now on to the next pick. Coming in next is going to be the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are on the clock at pick number 27. Now the Buffalo Bills are a team that has come really close to making the Super Bowl, but they keep falling short. And the simple way I know I can fix that is helping the offensive line to give Josh Allen more protection and help on the defense. I believe they are losing Jordan Poyer this offseason, so I'm going to focus on the defensive side of the ball for the first round. So with the 27th pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Antonio Johnson, safety out of the Texas A&M. Now, this guy's a baller. He will give you 110% from whistle to whistle. And the Buffalo Bills could use a player like this, a young, energetic player in the safety room, in the DB room, that wants to win. The Buffalo Bills keep coming so close that sooner or later they will make the AFC Championship than the Super Bowl. And Johnson is the right pick at this point in time, because I don't like that many of the offensive linemen, and I don't like the running backs right here for them, and I don't like the wide receivers. So Antonio Johnson, safety, should be the pick. Now on to the next team. And coming in at pick number 28 will be the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals are near the same predicament as the Buffalo Bills, but they reached the Super Bowl last year, and they got demolished, hurt, because their offensive line sucked. And you're not going to have a franchise quarterback as good as Joe Burrow for that long if you don't have a good offensive line. And luckily, one of their needs is a tackle, and one of my best tackles is still on the board. So if I'm the Bengals, I am running to that podium to put this pick in. So with the 28th pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Antoine Harrison, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma. Now, Harrison is a big boy who you could count on to protect your blind side. He is one of the best tackles in this draft class, and the Bengals are getting him here at 28 is a tremendous value, because he won't be here when you come back to the Bengals in the second round. He will be gone. If he doesn't go here for the Bengals and he falls into the second, I don't see him making it past Arizona, because Arizona has a need a tackle, we have a need a DB, and a need an edge rusher. So the Bengals aren't going to risk losing out on one of the better offensive linemen in the draft, and they get somebody to help protect Joe Burrow. Now on to the next pick. Coming up next is going to be the New Orleans Saints. They got this pick from a trade with the San Francisco 49ers. Now, Jay Flowers is a nice complimentary wide receiver that you could pair up with anybody, and he will put up big numbers. He's a speedy wide receiver with good hands that would do tremendous things in New Orleans, given the fact that he has a good quarterback. He's a little bit on the shorter side at 5'9", 182, 29-inch arms, and 9-inch hands. He used a 4.42 40-yard dash, 1.53 10-cone split, 35.5 vertical, and 10 sevenths on the broad jump. But Zay Flowers should be the pick here, so the Saints could have a weapon from whomever their quarterback could be. Now on to the next pick. Coming in at pick 30 will be the runner-ups from the Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now Gibbs gives the Eagles explosiveness. He's 5'9", 199 pounds. He needs to put on a little bit of weight, but I think he can do that from now until the start of the season. He has 30-inch arms and 9 1/4 hands. He ran a 4.36 on the 40-yard dash, which is speed city. 1.52 on the 10-yard split, and 33.5 vertical. His pro comparison is Alvin Kamara. Now, the Eagles, if they take this, they could very well easily be in contender to win the NFC again. Because they're not losing that many players. Yes, they lost their offensive and defensive coordinator and maybe a couple of assistants, but they haven't lost that many players. And you're going to give Jalen Hurts another weapon? Whew. Now on to the next pick. And coming in at pick number 31 will be the reigning defending NFL Vince Lombardi champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs, they could take their best player on the board. They are the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, and they're going to get a little help with the pass rush. Because there's a certain player who took the internet by storm with the combine and his performance. And he's a state champion. He's from the Georgia defense. So with the 31st pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the last pick of the first round, ladies and gentlemen, the Kansas City Chiefs select Nolan Smith, edge rusher from Georgia. Now, Nolan has tremendous potential to be a top pass rusher in just about any class. He is coming off of a state championship win and a tremendous combine performance. And the Kansas City Chiefs get somebody who benefited a lot from going to the combine and showing out. And they get that much better, which is not a good thing for the AFC because they are the reigning defending AFC and Super Bowl champions. But what can you do? Kansas City is going to be a force to be reckoned with. With that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching CageTalk number 69. This has been the 31 picks of the first round for the 2023 NFL Draft. There's normally 32, but the Dolphins forfeited, so there is no 32 this year. There's only 31. Please be on the lookout because we have more Cage Talks coming your way. I want to get the 7-round mock for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm waiting for the DeAndre Hopkins trade because we are apparently trading him. I want to get my WrestleMania weekend predictions done. Well, that's WrestleMania Night 1, 2, and Stand and Deliver. My Scream 6 spoiler review. And then eventually I will do the Teen Wolf movie spoiler review as well. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Tap the little bell on that YouTube app so you guys never miss an upload. And we are on our road to 500 subscribers. I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.